Okay. Okay, fellow coaches. Today we have in the coach spotlight Anne Brown. She works with nurses. She tells me we have not met before, so I'm delighted to have a little chat with her today. And anything you would like to say by way of introduction of yourself first, Anne?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 17 years on a medical oncology floor. So that's the cancer plus a lot of general medical patients from that. So you can imagine some stress and some burnout that has led me to my coaching journey.
Okay, well, that's the first thing I'm interested in. So this is a bit of a get to know you. So I usually ask if people have had a burnout story that's brought them to this place.
Yeah. So nursing has had its ups and downs, pandemic smack in the middle of that. But my burnout story actually started just over 5 years ago. Was starting to have some health issues, and I'm a nurse. I got this. Just keep pushing through. My perfectionist tendencies, my people pleasing, my human giver as a nurse. We're very much give of ourselves. I had an episode at work where I almost passed out. Super dizzy, lightheaded, everything that kind of came with it. That was my rock bottom day. I've now learned my pay attention to your body day. And I was proud of that I left work that day. It was half a day. I'm like, I can't make it through. That was the only day I missed. I ended up getting a diagnosis about 1.5 years later, muscling through days where I could barely stand up, fatigue, shortness of breath, exhaustion, brain fog, all these kind of things that came out. So lo and behold, I have an autoimmune disease. So essentially my stress caused so much physical issues that my body started attacking itself. Autoimmune and a couple other diagnoses as well. And that's kind of started the journey to getting my health back. I had to recognize that, okay, like I have to take ownership of myself and my health and everything that's contributing to the lack of that. And the stress was getting to me. Didn't really recognize it till burnout, like officially call it burnout till November. I started my coaching journey 2+ years ago, but I was like, I want to help my fellow nurses. I want to make sure we're not becoming the patients. But I was in denial that it actually was burnout. I was like, nah, it was just stress. It wasn't me completely to the point where my body had, almost turned off and didn't want to do things. That's how that happens sometimes with us. So through all that, got my coaching certificates and then recognized that, I really need to just focus on the burnout. That's what I've dealt with. And that's what I can really help my fellow nurses kind of work through.
Wow. So when did you say that was that you came out of burnout then?
So yeah, it's pretty much been the last year I've really kind of like made the swing completely out of burnout. I was working on the health side of it, like physically with my body getting healthy, nutrient dense food, figuring out the medical kind of health side of it. And then I realized, I really got to work on more the mental, spiritual side of that. And that's been my last year has kind of been that journey. So it's been, we're pushing 4 years since I've officially switched my diet, switched my thought process, my mindset, and that journey has gotten me to now. And it's obviously going to be, I'm not 100% there. It'll always be a work in progress, but I'm on that upward swing of I recognize burnout super quick now. When I'm headed toward all that stuff that got me kind of into that place in the beginning, I'm like, nope, and turn it around real quick. So I love that coaching has been able to help me. I really got into coaching to help everyone else, but to recognize that growth that I have had. And then of course that excites me, and that's why I want to help everyone around me too. You can have that too. I'm like, here, let me show you.
Yeah, superb. And I know people will want to ask me to ask you what's happening now with your autoimmune.
Yeah, so it's I hate to say that it's completely in remission, because it's not quite there. My autoimmune issues are minimum. I actually have a dysautonomia as well, which was the lightheaded dizziness. I've learned to figure out how to take care of that. I'm working with a functional doctor. I still have some gut issues. We're trying to heal my gut. I'm getting closer. I just retested. I have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which is a big fancy word. But I just retested for that actually a week ago. So I'm waiting for those results to come back to see how I'm doing that way. This is honestly the best I've felt in 5 years. I physically feel really, really good. I'm in a good place and everything's manageable at this point.
I'm detecting in there that possibly you've read the Nagoski book
Yes.
on
Is that,
burnout.
yes, they are one of my favorites. Obviously, the human giver syndrome is a big thing there, and I really resonated with a lot of what they discuss in the book. I recommend that. If you guys have not read that, read it, especially if you're working with female clients. Yeah.
So speaking about working with clients, then what do you think, or what do you do? What are your top tips for working with the people that you work with in burnout, or people like them?
Yeah. So my program is based mostly on what I've learned and what's helped me along the way. As I said, tendency to be that high achiever, perfectionist. We call it the human giver syndrome. People might think of the martyr syndrome. That's a lot of us in nursing, and a lot of the moms are kind of in that role as well, like give. Not that dads don't do that too, but stereotypically in the culture right now of nursing, it's, you don't take breaks, you don't take care of yourself. We're at a very stressful ratio of 1 to 7 ratio, where 1 to 5 is pushing it. So you can imagine having to be taking care of yourself and all that, and then you have 7 other people you are supposed to be kind of taking care of, plus whatever's going on in your home life and your family life as well. So that really adds up to a lot of stress. So my program is based on the physical side of things, and then more of that soul care. So self-care practices, and then I call it soul care, which is kind of the more spiritual, mental kind of side of things. And then learning how to sustain it all. So recognizing that awareness is kind of the top thing, right? We all know 95% is awareness, but you can be aware of something and then still put your blinders on, right? Like, yep, that's an issue, but I'm going to keep doing it the way I've been doing it, which is very typical in the nursing culture of, well, this is how we've always done it. There's a book out there about healing nurses, and she cites research from 2001, and is saying the exact same stuff that we're going through now in 2023. So nothing's changed from that standpoint. We have not learned. So awareness, and then it's actually admitting kind of what was going on. That was my biggest thing. Once I really admitted what I was feeling, acknowledged those feelings, then I can really take the action steps. And the big part of this is self-love, self-acceptance, recognizing that this is me and owning all that, taking responsibility. I think that's my biggest tip, is like, once you recognize that this is me and that's okay, like, we don't have to fit into any box or into any kind of stereotypes out there. It's okay to be you, whatever that looks like. And then the other biggest lesson, I think, too, is we don't have to fix people. That's a big thing with nurses, right? We want to help people, but we want to help them heal. And I think some of us that have been through burnout and then get into coaching for burnout, we're kind of in that same pattern of, how can I fix you? And that's not our job as coaches, right? So recognize that it's not about fixing the person, it's about holding that space for them to see kind of where they want to go and how they want to get there, and obviously, guiding them along the way.
And are you yourself still nursing?
I am. My business is in its infancy. It hasn't quite matured enough for me to get out of nursing. I am casual, which means I only have to work 3 shifts in a 6-week period, and I can pick up more. So I'm slowly easing my way out of nursing and full-time into coaching. But it also helps me because obviously I'm still on the battlefield with my fellow nurses. So I know what they're going through, and I can, kind of coach them on a daily basis. So kind of a win-win for all of us.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, it's been great talking with you. That's our time pretty much up. Is there anything else you just wanted to share before we go today?
No, I just, as I said, thank you for having the group for us all to connect, and to recognize that burnout comes in all different forms. And that's why it's great to have so many of us out there that we can, you know, for me, my fellow nurses, those are my going to battlefield kind of things with them. So we know what each other's going through, and we're in our specific niche. So don't ever think that there's not enough space for all of us, I guess. We're all unique.
Yeah, I really agree. And everybody I've ever spoken to has a different approach from everybody else on burnout. I don't think it really matters. I think everybody's approach works, but it's fascinating to hear from more and more people and to find they've got a different kind of core concept to run with. So thank you so much for coming on and talking with us today. It's been terrific to meet with you, and I hope we catch up again soon. Please be in contact with Anne, listeners, if you have any questions for her.
Yes, thank you.